Hey solos, so you're going to Walt Disney World all by yourself and you are wondering if you should go and visit the Yacht Club Hotel or the Beach Club Hotel, or maybe you're wondering if you should stay. So should you as a Solo spoiler, the Yacht and the Beach Club hotels that are connected, so I am really thinking of it as one hotel, are in a really, really great location. It has a really couple, or just like maybe one amazing amenity. It has some really nice food options. It's definitely a cool place to stay. Is it a cool place to like go out of your way to like hang out during the day? Nah, maybe not, but in this episode, I'm going to tell you all about that. Hi everyone, it's Samantha. Olaf may not know who Samantha is, but now you do. And welcome to Disney Solo Magic, the #1 podcast for solo travel to Disney World, now in its second year. So this episode, we are continuing our Deluxe Hotel Summer Series, and I'm going to talk about the Beach Club and Yacht Club hotels together. Like the rest of the episodes in the Deluxe series, I'm not just talking about what it's like to stay there. In fact, I've never stayed there. Instead, I'm going to talk about the different things that you can do or eat or visit when you are a solo at these hotels, and then I'm going to bring somebody on for a little solo story about their experience staying there. So you'll get the opportunity to know what it's like to stay there, but also the idea is that you get to learn about these hotels and understand why they're cool to visit when you're solo. Last week, I talked about the Boardwalk Hotel, and Boardwalk Hotel is right across the Crescent Lake, the body of water from the Beach Club and Boardwalk hotels. So if you are planning on going to Boardwalk to like walk around and see the food and the restaurants and things like that, then you can hop along or walk along the Boardwalk all the way to Yacht Club and Beach Club and see that as well. So I really liked the idea of bringing these three hotels together. As I said in the little bonus drop that I did yesterday, I had a very busy weekend being in full-time auntie mode, and so I apologize I wasn't able to get this episode out on Tuesday. One of the podcasts that I have listened to, I guess fairly religiously for the last 5 years or so, changed their posting schedule from Tuesday to Sunday a few years ago because the podcast got so big that they were able actually to get like advanced recordings of the show that they talk about. So it's actually a really great thing that they are able to move it up, but it totally threw off my schedule. I was like, 1 second, what am I supposed to do on the subway on Tuesday morning? So if this podcast is somehow in your listening routine on Tuesdays, I apologize for that. I did post a few pictures of the Auntie weekend on Instagram, and as always, you can find me and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. All the links are below. I'm the most active on Instagram, so if you're looking to send me a DM or you want to update me on something or let me know if I got something wrong about some of these hotels, Instagram is the best way to do it. You can also listen to this on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube, and it's really awesome if you subscribe and rate and review and comment and like and do all those things on all those platforms because it really helps the algorithm. I also had said that when I get to 100 subscribers on YouTube, then I will do a full video episode. So let's make that happen. Let's make that happen before it gets too dark. Too dark in the nights, because then it'll be difficult for me to record in my office anyway. So let's just make that happen earlier. This podcast also has a Patreon. Thank you so much to all the members already. I just really appreciate all the support for the podcast. The membership is not that much money. It's like $1 a week American or $1.25 Canadian. You get reflections on each one of the episodes. You get a chance to watch the video interviews of everyone that I talked to for the solo stories. You get occasional bonus episode drops. One will be coming in the next week or so. You also get other photos and other musings and things like that about my life that is kind of Disney adjacent, but more Toronto specific. So it's, and the more members that we have, the more it can grow into be a real cool space for community, which was what I initially thought of for the Patreon. So please, again, jump on there, become a member, and help support the podcast and again, let's build our nice solo community. Before we get into the episode, I also have an exciting announcement that I am going to Disney World in a couple weeks. So I've been really on the fence. I had booked a trip to D23 because of one of you listeners had suggested that I go and do it, and she and I had met up, and it was really, really fun, and we had a really great time. I got a great deal on the hotel. I was really excited for D23, but I did not get a ticket. And I was really bummed about that and was really hoping that there was going to be an opportunity that they were going to sell some more tickets. And it's now just over a month away and no tickets have been sold. And that's my birthday weekend too, which again is great to be at Disney for that. But my birthday always falls very close to Labor Day weekend. And I don't actually like it when my birthday's on Labor Day weekend because I prefer a chiller birthday. I don't want there to be like a ton of people all around. So I was really, really on the fence. And then I was looking at like maybe doing something earlier in August, and I don't know, nothing was really fitting, but long story short, there was an offer that seemed too good to refuse, and I'm going in a few weeks, and I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of things I had never done before, and I am really, really psyched about that. I'm disappointed I'm going to miss the Halloween party, and I'm disappointed that I'm going to miss the beginning of Food and Wine Festival and all of that stuff, but at the same time, I don't really think of the Food and Wine Festival or Halloween at the end of August either. So hopefully I'll get a chance to go down there in the fall. But you can always be a correspondent too if you are there for like the first day of the food festival and you want to do a review of what it was like to be there solo and some foods and stuff that you enjoyed. Like you can be a correspondent. I love that. So look out for more details about my upcoming trip to Disney. I cannot wait. All right, but let's talk about the Beach Club and Yacht Club hotels. All right, let's get into it. Okay. So like I said, I really think of the Beach Club Hotel and the Yacht Club Hotel as the same hotel, even though it's not. Both hotels have their own front desk, they have their own decorations, they have their own staff, they have their own everything. Except for pools. I'll get back to that in a second. And really why I think of them as the same is because you can get to one from the other essentially in one hallway. So they aren't directly connected, but they are very connected as well. So if you were staying at the Beach Club Hotel, for example, it would be very surprising if you didn't just like stroll over to the Yacht Club. It's that close. If you've ever stayed at any of the All-Star hotels, you know that you can see the other All-Star hotel like across the parking lot. If you've stayed at Pop Century or Art of Animation, you know that it's just that one bridge that will get you to that other hotel. These hotels, the Beach Club and the Yacht Club, are even closer than that. And because the building is so connected to each other, again, it feels like it's the same hotel, even though they are definitely different hotels. They have a totally different vibe. But the other reason that really keeps them connected is because they share one big pool. That pool is called Stormalong Bay. It was actually closed for renovation for a large part of this past winter. You might have seen people talk about it on social media. And Stormalong Bay is without a doubt known as the best hotel pool on Disney property. It is super, super large. It's not a lazy river, but it kind of feels, there's like elements where it feels like a lazy river. There are tons of bridges. It was sand bottom. It has a big water slide that comes from like a old ship that had crashed. Like it's a super, super cool pool. And it is so cool, in fact, that the security in that pool is the tightest of all of the different Disney hotels. So not only do you need to have your magic band or your room key or your phone to identify and scan in that you're part of that hotel, but then you also have to like go through a cast member who is there as security, and you get a wristband, again, to all like keep the pool very dedicated for the patrons of the Yacht Club and the Beach Club hotels. About 15 years ago, one of the first trips that I did to Disney with a former partner, but I was there as an adult, we came across this pool and it didn't have any of those security measures. And I was like, oh my gosh, next time we come here, we should just bring our bathing suits and just kind of like sneak into the pool and go swimming after we go to Epcot. And my former partner is a baby and he was like, oh, I don't think so. I don't think that's against the rules. I mean, he was right, but he's also a baby. And so like it never kind of came into my brain again, but other people have that same idea, and that's why they have the security around the pool. So that pool in and of itself is, again, what kind of connects these two hotels, that is really exclusive access to an exclusive pool. You can think of the Beach Club Hotel and the Yacht Club Hotel as kind of a big sea that hugs this big pool. And if you are walking in between the two hotels, you are walking in these like hallways that are outdoor, indoor corridors that really like hug the side of this pool. So again, that's why it feels really, the two hotels feel really connected, because of the fact that the central focus is on this pool as the middle of that C, that the letter C. So you can't really think of these hotels without that pool. And if you take that pool out of your thinking about this hotels, I really think of like the main public, quote unquote, public parts of the hotel as quite kind of thin, actually. There is this, again, this like corridor that where all the restaurants and things like come off of, but it's not like it's this big square or a big circle or a big rectangle where you can kind of get to everything. Like I'm thinking of Grand Floridian, for example, right? That's a big rectangle where you can, people like look down from all the balconies and all the different restaurants kind of offshoot of these offshoot that big main lobby, that big square or that big rectangle. The same with Animal Kingdom Hotel, the same with Wilderness Lodge Hotel. But these hotels, the Yacht Club and the Beach Club, it just feels like a narrow hallway in which the different things come off of. And look, that's really cool, but it really pushes your focus towards the pool. And that's why, because they share a pool, I think of them as very close. Just like the Boardwalk Hotel, these hotels are walkable to Epcot and walkable to Hollywood Studios. These hotels are right across the water from the Boardwalk Hotel that I talked about last week. And so the commute to Hollywood Studios and Epcot is basically the same. Like the Boardwalk Hotel, you can also take a boat to Hollywood Studios or to Epcot, and it will stop at the Boardwalk Hotel as well. So it's this really, I don't know, it just feels like a nice little community hub of these three hotels. One hotel that is also there is two hotels that are also there are the Swan and Dolphin hotels, which are good neighbor hotels, which means they're not owned by Disney. They're Marriott hotels, I believe, but they get a lot of the same perks as the Disney hotels. They get a lot of the same perks like early entry or the deluxe extended hours, and they're very close to Hollywood Studios and Epcot and things like that. But I do not like them. A lot of people really do, but I think that if you were going to be that close to Disney, a lot of the expectation is that you are going to be surrounded by Disney cast member service and Disney magic and Disney theming, and you don't get that at the Swan and Dolphin hotels. I'm not going to talk a lot about the Swan and Dolphin hotels because that's not what this episode is about, but a little caveat. Personally, and I've talked to other people too, that even though the hotel those hotels are as close to Hollywood Studios and Epcot as the Boardwalk, Yacht Club, Beach Club, those are the ones we're talking about today, I would actually rather spend that money at a value resort than to stay at the Swan and Dolphin. They're half the price as the Yacht Club and Beach Club, maybe even more than that sometimes, but I don't know, it's not worth it. But maybe the Beach Club and Yacht Club are. Okay, so like I said, you can walk to the Beach Club and Yacht Club hotels from Epcot. So let's pretend we are walking from Epcot to the Beach Club Hotel. You would exit in between England and France, just like you are going to the Skyliner. And don't get on the Skyliner. It will not take you there. It'll be a very long route to get to someplace pretty close. When you are exiting Epcot at that location, you can see a boat dock and you can jump on that boat and you can go to those hotels, or you can walk. It's about a 10-minute walk. And it's a 10-minute walk that was designed to be the walk from Epcot to the boardwalk and to Yacht Club and to Beach Club. So there's literally nothing scary or a security issue or anything like that. It's clean, all that stuff. It's really just like walking in the park. Don't even think about it. The first hotel you're going to come up to is the Beach Club. So the Yacht Club is the second one. If you're walking from Epcot, Beach Club is first. And there are some rooms at the Beach Club that are literally like a 5-minute walk away from Epcot. So if you look at the map, you can see that there are, like wings to the hotel. And so you can get a room in the furthest wing from the check-in desk and the pool, but the closest to Epcot, which is great if you are interested in being at Epcot. And I know a lot of solos are because of all the wonderful food and beverage and ambiance options that you have at Epcot. And then connected to the Beach Club is the Yacht Club Hotel, which is a little bit bigger. And they have some more rooms that kind of like hug the water in a way that just kind of invites events. Like I every time I'm there, I either see an event that's happening on the boardwalk or on the lawn in front of the boardwalk, or I envision the events that are to come. So there is a little bit more space outside of the Yacht Club as a way to, again, have a few more events. And that makes sense because there is also a giant convention center attached to the Yacht Club Hotel. But if you are coming from Epcot, you don't even see it. In fact, it surprises me every time I look at a map and I see the convention center, what's that? What are we doing there? But yeah, there's a convention center. So it makes sense that there are spaces around the Yacht Club that can have some outdoor events for the social, cocktail hour and networking, etc., after your conference day. So if you're walking from Epcot, the first entrance into the Beach Club Resort that you're going to see is just for guests, for the guests of the hotel. You need to swipe in to get into the building, which makes sense because that's where all the rooms are. So that's totally great. So if you just kind of keep walking, you'll see a sandy beach to your left, and then you're going to see the pathway into the lobby of the hotel. And so let's walk there together into the lobby. So the lobby of the Beach Club is really cool. Literally it has very cool, chill vibes because, again, it is a beach club resort. There is a lot of cool artwork related to, beachy vibes. During Christmas, definitely go and check it out. The Christmas tree has starfish and sand dollars and blues and greens, and it just feels very, very aquatic. I really, really enjoy it. In the Beach Club lobby, again, you get some really good vibes. If you look to the right, you will see the Beach Club Marketplace, which is the store for the hotel. I've had some really amazing interactions with cast members there. Just a quick story. This one woman was there and she was helping me, and her energy just felt heavy. She was very friendly, but her energy just felt heavy. And then she just said it was her first day back at work after her daughter, her adult daughter, died. And I was just oh my God, thank you so much for being here. Can I just give you a hug? And she's yes. And we just hugged and cried in the middle of the store. Ugh. Now, if hugging and crying strangers is not your thing, don't worry. It's never happened to me before. But, Disney magic. It's just quite magical. In the Beach Club Marketplace, you can also find a place to get coffee. It's a bit of a quick service restaurant. I do find a lot of no, that's not entirely true. Some of the quick service restaurants at the Deluxe resorts have pretty not great options, but it's because they have a lot of higher end options that are much more enjoyable. So if you, for example, are walking from Epcot and you just wanted a bottled drink, that's great. Go get that. But if you wanted to get like a fancy drink and an appetizer and things like that, wait till you get to Yacht Club. Wait till you get to Yacht Club. So if you are now going back into the lobby from the Beach Club Marketplace, you will see a restaurant there, and it's called Cape May Cafe. Now, Cape May Cafe seems like it's a bit of a hidden gem for a lot of people that know about it. It's a buffet restaurant, and it has a breakfast buffet and a dinner buffet. The breakfast buffet is a character dining experience, and it's Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and Donald and Daisy, and they're in their like beach outfits, and I've had such amazing character interactions with them like every single time. I mean, I love their outfits, but it's just a really kind of cool vibe. I've also had really, really excellent service. I had 2 omelets there one of the last times I went, and it's because the woman at the omelet station was so excited to make omelets that I was like, sure, make me another omelet, despite my stomach being very, very full. In fact, she did this thing with the cheddar cheese where she made like a crispy cheddar like orbit around the omelet. I don't know what she did, but it was amazing. Another time, I asked a cast member for some fruit that wasn't contaminated with pineapple because I have a pineapple allergy, and they like disappeared, and they came back with this gorgeous giant bowl of watermelon, and it was just great. I've had really, really wonderful service. And there's something about this setup of the restaurant too, where I've never felt it being very busy and chaotic. It might just be the times that I've gone. I've usually gone like closer to the end of the breakfast window, but I don't know. I've always, whenever I think of my dining experience there at the breakfast buffet with the character dining, it always feels very like insular, like it's just like me and the characters and the cast members and breakfast, and not like, you know, like I'm thinking about 1900 Park Fair, which is at Grand Floridian, and it's a much more open space. So I always have my eye on other people and what they're doing and things like that. And again, that's just like the way I perceive the world. Like you might not, and obviously that's totally fine. But the setup of the restaurant is such that at Cape May Cafe, where I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel a little bit more insular, and I've really, really enjoyed it. There's also some really interesting artifacts in the restaurant and around the restaurant of like early 1900s swimming costumes for children and things like that. I mean, those are touches that I really enjoy and like looking at and really appreciate. And so if you also like those types of things, you can go take a look. Cape May Cafe also has a buffet in the evening, and it is a seafood buffet. You can also upgrade your buffet to include crab legs for an additional charge. And I went to Cape May Cafe for a dinner buffet. Well, it wasn't a buffet. It was right after COVID, so they were serving it family style. They were just like bringing food to you, and you ate what you wanted. They would just keep loading it up. So I don't think I've ever been, since it's been a buffet, but I mean, it's nice, like seafood. I enjoy the seafood. Now, of course, there are definitely places on the Disney property where you can get like better seafood. But if you are like into shrimp and clams and butter and bread, you know, like all those types of things, it's a cool place to go. I would definitely recommend it. And you know, I love buffets for solos. Like it seems kind of counterintuitive, but I don't know, like I think it's kind of great. You don't need to be like, oh, are you going up? Are you going up? Oh, you're done? Oh, you're gonna have dessert now? Oh, I could definitely go for another plate. Oh, like nah, you can just go up and do your own thing. So I don't know, I would definitely think about giving it a try, especially because you could go for dinner there, have some nice seafood, really enjoy your time, and then as the sun is setting, you can go out past the pool, because you can't go into the pool, onto the little white sand beach they have set up and watch the sunset. And you can also see the Epcot fireworks from there, and it's just like really kind of chill vibe. And again, because it's like not the best seafood on Disney property, definitely not the worst, but I don't know what the worst would be, but it's like like the Flying Fish across the way at the boardwalk has definitely just like fancier, higher quality seafood. But if you are into the seafood that you're like, if you're into seafood and you go to Cape May Cafe, it's not that much money, like all things considered. So yeah, it's just like a really nice chill vibe. You can go check it out. Right off the side of the Cape May Cafe, there is also a little lounge, a bar lounge called Martha's Vineyard. And to be honest, I've never actually been there because at that like time of the night, I think it opens around 5 or 6 o'clock. I'm already kind of in a different location, but you can get crab legs there. You can get clam chowder there. You can get cheese. You can get shrimp, like you can get a lot of the stuff that you might get at a full buffet, and you can get that at the lounge, and also get a nice glass of wine or something like that if you're into it. So there is that lounge too. So remember when I said, like, if you wanted to get a drink and you just start just like passing through, don't worry about the marketplace. If you're there in the evening and you want a nice glass of wine with some cheese or some shrimp, then you can go to Martha's Vineyard, which is attached to, it's not attached to Cape May Cafe. It's on the other side of Cape May Cafe, but like they share a washroom. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you were there, you're like, oh, yeah, I see. I see what's happening here. Now, that lounge, the Martha's Vineyard Lounge, is nice, but there are kind of nicer lounges within like a 5-minute walking distance. So hold on, because I'm going from Epcot all the way to like closer to Hollywood Studios, and so I'll highlight another lounge coming up. Okay, so right after the Martha's Vineyard Lounge is when you have to go outside. So like I said, the beach club and the yacht club are connected, and you can basically take a hallway all the way there. And there is one exception, and we are at that exception right now. That exception, you have to go outside. But when you go outside, you actually are going to pass another restaurant, and that is called Beaches and Cream. And you are probably familiar with it. It is very popular amongst all the social media people. It is a diner. It's an ice cream shop. It's a diner. It's very famous for the ice cream sundae in a kitchen sink, and it's very hard to get a reservation. Like it's super packed all the time. And I guess just for the novelty of it, and I guess maybe because it's like a pretty standard, easy restaurant if you have kids. I've never been there because I am not interested in like making a reservation or waiting in line for just like an okay hamburger and some ice cream. I don't know. There's just other places to get both of those things at Disney property. Literally within walking distance of where I am. But it is quite popular, and it might be a place that you want to go check out. I don't know if I would recommend it. Like if you were there with kids and you were having a non-park day, I would be like, yeah, go there for like a late lunch, early dinner, get the ice cream, like the kitchen sink sundae and all of that, and French fries, and like do the whole thing. But I don't know. You can let me know what you think if you've been there. I think it's fine. I just don't think it's like super adult solo worthy. I don't know. Now there is a sit down restaurant, but there is also a like window where you can just get ice cream. Again, I don't know. Like I love sweets. I love ice cream, but I do find it like hard to appreciate some ice creams that people say are like fancy and artisanal when they really just taste like regular ice cream. Like, I'm going to spend $6 on ice cream. It might as well be in the shape of Mickey. This is just like flavored ice cream. So look, if you're walking along if you're walking in between the two hotels and you want an ice cream, then go and stop and get an ice cream. But I don't know. It's nothing to write home about. You know what I mean? Speaking of ice cream, so we've been walking basically, like in that corridor between Beach Club. We're now outside. We're about to go to Yacht Club. You are now facing the big pool. You are now facing Stormalong Bay. And it does feel very busy and chaotic here because the space isn't quite as large because they have this fence. And of course, there's all these kids running around in their like little wet bodies and their little wet bathing suits, and they're going to get ice cream, and the parents are there and they're frantic and all that energy. So usually I just very quickly go past that as quickly as possible. However, if you are doing this same walk, but you aren't close to the hotel, rather you are close to the white sand beach that is right like opposite where Crescent Lake is. Like if you walk around the pool to go back to the go back to the beach, you're going to see that there is a pool bar called Hurricane Hannah's Grill. Now, there are a lot of pool bars that I've really enjoyed going to. I've mentioned the Leaping Libations pool bar at Boardwalk last week and the reference to Sonora from Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. And I love how so many of you were like, oh, I love that movie. Yeah, so I've sat at that pool bar. This pool bar, I don't know, I haven't really ever spent a lot of time on because, again, it feels very frantic and hectic because it's such a busy pool. But I have stopped there and got a Mickey bar. And I then walked the rest of the way with my Mickey bar, and personally that satisfied my craving for ice cream more than waiting in line with just like the franticness of the parents and all of the kids and stuff like that at Beaches and Cream. So you have that option too for like food if you want, but you can also just get a Mickey bar and a drink, and that's cool too. Okay, let's head back to the hotel. So Beaches and Cream, we're just passing that. Now we can sneak back inside and enjoy the air conditioning, which you will definitely feel. And we're going to just keep walking towards the lobby. So here we're going to pass a restaurant. It's called the Yachtsman's Steakhouse. There's actually like two kind of like heavy, fancy-ish restaurants at the Yacht Club Hotel. One is the Yachtsman's Steakhouse. The other one is Ale and Compass. I've never been to either of them, actually, because, like, I don't know, the food just hasn't piqued my interest too much. I have often made reservations at both of them, but then I thought, like, I don't know, I don't really want a steak. I'd rather have pasta across the street or across Crescent Lake at the Boardwalk. But I know that Disney Dad of 7, who I interviewed like a year ago, he has loved the Yachtsman's Steakhouse, but I don't eat a lot of steak, so definitely go check it out if you want. But again, like you have to like steak, like that type of food. The Yacht Club is a signature dining restaurant. It's only open in the evening, and again, it has steak, it has filet mignon, it has prime rib, it has, fancy butcher cuts, it has short rib and Chilean sea bass, and everything is pretty pricey, but it's a really great restaurant if you wanted something upscale and something that really is focused on the cut of beef, for example, if you're a steak lover. Attached to the Yachtsman's Steakhouse, though, is a lounge. It's called the Crew Cuts Lounge. I have a difficult time saying that for some reason. And this is a much cooler, more sophisticated place to go and have a drink. It opens at 4, and you can get like this fancy bread that the Yachtsman's Steakhouse is known for. You can get a wedge salad. You can get a lobster bisque. You can get a lot of the small things like the appetizers that you could get at the Yachtsman's Steakhouse, but here in the lounge. And if you are like, if you're interested in trying the food at the Yachtsman's Steakhouse, but you actually aren't really into steak, then doing it at the lounge is a really great way to like try this delicious food, because again, it's signature dining. Of course it's going to be delicious, and the lounge is, as I've talked about in other episodes, like such a great hack for solos because it is a less intimidating space if you're not, used to eating in the dining room with just like a table for one. Now you can eat in a much more intimate type of lounge bar area and get a lot of the same things. So definitely go check that out. But right next to the Yachtsman's Steakhouse is another restaurant called the Ale and Compass. And that is more casual than the Yachtsman's Steakhouse. But I haven't been there, but I've heard it's equally as good. So this restaurant is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but it closes for a large part of the afternoon. But I can see people from the beach club coming over here for a meal as well. Now, it is still kind of a fancy menu, which is, I always find really exciting, because if you were going to get a burger, you could get it at Beaches and Cream, for example. If you wanted like a fancy steak, you would go to the Yachtsman's Steakhouse. This is right in between those two things. So the dinner menu, for example, has mussels and it has shrimp remoulade, and it has a wedge salad like at the Brown Derby. You can also get a steak here, but there's a lot of different types of pasta and a pork chop and a half a chicken, a seafood pot pie, and the prices are like $20 cheaper by and large from the steakhouse. So if you wanted something a little bit more upscale, kind of interesting food, but the Yachtsman Steakhouse is not in your budget, then definitely try Ale and Compass. Also, Ale and Compass has a lounge as well. And in that lounge, you can get a flatbread, you can get a salad, you can get truffle fries, you can get rolls and spreads, you can get chicken wings, and you can also get a cheeseburger. And what's really interesting is that I really got to know the Ale and Compass lounge because of a video that Molly did, Molly from Mammoth Club. And I can't remember if it was an All Ears video or a Mammoth Club video, but she did a video there talking about how delicious all the food was. And so I've always wanted to go, but it is, I don't know, like I just feel like it's so hot. I just feel like Disney is so hot, and when I am there, I am very hot, and the idea of like eating heavy food is just kind of beyond me. But I'm definitely going to try when I am there in August, even though it's going to be hot, to try that. In fact, I was wondering if I should wait until I get back from the trip and do an episode where I am talking about that particular, like do this episode where I can talk about that food, but I didn't. I didn't. I decided not to. I decided not to like change the whole schedule around for that. So if I do go, when I do go to this restaurant, I will definitely give you a full review. Or the restaurant or the lounge. Now, I said that the Yachtsman Steakhouse and the Ale and Compass are close to each other, and they are. They are on either side of the lobby, and the lobby is really very cool and very like sophisticated. It's very interesting. It's very streamlined. It's 2 stories. And you can definitely see, hanging out there. And again, go during Christmas, go during Easter, because they have displays of Easter eggs and Christmas trees and all of that during those seasonal holidays too. In fact, at the Beach Club, I didn't mention this, they actually have this carousel of horses that they do every year. And actually coming up this Christmas, it's going to be some like 25th or 20th anniversary. And I spoke to the chef last year about it, and he was really excited. Like, we've just started planning. We don't know what we're doing yet. So definitely go check it out, because these lobbies are large. I mean, they're not as large as some of the other deluxe lobbies, but they definitely can handle a display of different things. It's really cool. And so one more thing I wanted to highlight: when you're in the lobby and you just keep walking towards in the direction of Hollywood Studios, essentially, even though the hallway is going to feel kind of dead, you are going to hit this store. And the store is called The Market. How original. And in The Market is also a quick service restaurant, or a quick service place to get coffee and like things from a cooler and stuff, just like at the Beach Club. Really nothing to write home about, but some of the merchandise in the Yacht Club store is a little bit different than where you'll see elsewhere, because it's more yacht themed. And actually the costumes that the cast members wear are pretty cool there as well. Okay, so I've just walked you through those 2 hotels, and I've pointed out all of the food options. I want to point out a couple other things as well. So I'm going to zoom us out from where we were if you were mentally doing that walk with me. And we're just going to go back to the Beach Club. We're going to start in the lobby of the Beach Club. Now, the Beach Club Hotel is actually a part of the DVC group of hotels, the Disney Vacation Club. And so if you walk out of the Beach Club, like away from Crescent Lake towards the like driveway, you're going to see a walkway, and that's going to take you to the DVC part of the hotel. Now, of course, you can't really spend a lot of time here unless you're a DVC member, but it is a nice kind of area to walk around and just like see what is available. So you can walk around the building and you can see one of the 2 quiet pools that this hotel has. It's kind of tucked away, but there's also a body of water there that I don't know, it's just kind of nice to look at and see. It just kind of provides a different view of Disney. If you walk around the hotel, like towards Epcot, you will also see that there are some rooms that have these like gorgeous, very lush views of trees and foliage and things like that. So if you were staying in a DVC room, maybe that is a type of view that you're interested in requesting if they can do that. But if you come back into the main building, so not the DVC building, but if you come back into the main building, like as if you were going to go towards the marketplace, you're going to go into a bit of a lounge. And that lounge, I mean, I guess it was kind of created for DVC, but it's not a private DVC lounge. There aren't cast members there that make sure that you're a DVC member. It's actually a really cool, tranquil space. There's a TV there. There's some couches set up. There's some tables set up. And when I happened upon this space, there were a lot of people that were on their laptops and doing some work and things like that. There's also the hallway that is going towards the lobby, and there were tables and chairs set up there too where people were working. So if you are coming from Epcot and you just need like a place to kind of relax, that's very cool, like air conditioned and off the beaten path, this little spot at the Beach Club Hotel is a really, really great one. And again, this is how you would get to it if you were going to Epcot. If you were coming from Epcot, if you were coming from Epcot, you were going to see the Beach Club Hotel. And again, you can't enter into the hotel by what you're looking at because those are just rooms. But you will see a path. And if you turn right on that path and you're just following the outside of the hotel, when you get to the back of the hotel, that you can then see another building that's not attached, but again, it's the DVC hotel. There is a door back into the building that's more of a public door, and that is where you can find this really nice chill space to hang out. And when I found it the first time, I was like, ooh, just so relaxing, so lovely. If you are heading from Epcot again, and again, you're just walking just normal, you're not like sneaking around the back. It's not really sneaking, but you might feel that way. You will also see the second of the two quiet pools in the Beach Club Resort. It is facing Crescent Lake and the beach and things like that. It's a little less private than the other DVC pool in the back, but it is a quiet pool. Again, those pools are only for resort guests. If we are in the Yacht Club Hotel and we are in the lobby, you will notice if you're facing the front desk, if you look to your left and you look up a little bit, there is like a second floor or a mezzanine, and you can go up there and look around because there is this display of really, really cool artifacts that are ship themed, yacht themed, sea voyage themed. There's even like a big steering wheel. What is the steering wheel called in a ship? Sorry. I know people are literally saying it in their brain right now. I'm sorry, I don't know it off the top of my head. But again, if you are interested in like looking around, you like history and things like that, go and take a look at all the things that they have. And as I've said in other episodes, it's really frustrating as someone who is interested in history that there isn't more information about what we're looking at and the context and the origin story of some of these artifacts. But they're very, very cool to look at and definitely worth spending some time looking at that. Now, if we are leaving the hotel building, I've mentioned a few times that there is this beach. So the Beach Club and the Yacht Club hotels are facing Crescent Lake. And actually, they're facing Crescent Lake, but they're also facing the Boardwalk Hotel, which is really great because it's like you have the amenities, well, except for the pools, of all three hotels if you're staying at one of those hotels. The beach is really cool. It has hammocks and like lawn chairs, and again you can sit and watch the fireworks. The view isn't great, but it's something, and it's a really lovely chill spot, and you don't need to be a guest to stay there. It's not roped off or anything just for guests. There's also a lighthouse, and that's where you would get the boat and again, you don't need to stay at these hotels if you're taking the boat, but the lighthouse is a really beautiful walk. It definitely feels romantic. And if you're not there with a partner, it's totally cool. It still feels romantic. Like it just is a really lovely walk. And so I mentioned last week that I felt like the boardwalk was energetically dead, which it just feels kind of cruel to say, but the boardwalk is so beautiful to look at. I guess what I meant by that was everything they had planned for the boardwalk never really came to fruition, but the beauty of the boardwalk is still there. So if you are walking from the yacht club or the beach club and you walk up to the lighthouse and you're just kind of like standing at the lighthouse at dusk and you're looking at how beautiful the boardwalk is, it's like literally chef's kiss. And I could possibly guarantee that if you are there solo and you are doing that walk, especially if you have a Mickey bar or an ice cream from Beaches and Cream, or you have some steak in your belly from one of the many restaurants, or seafood in your belly from one of the many restaurants across these two hotels, you're just going to be like, I make wonderful decisions for myself. There's just a sense of serenity that really comes from that whole area of Crescent Lake, and you really get that from Yacht Club and Beach Club. Now, I do find the energy of the two hotels, because of the pool, like that Stormalong Bay pool, very frenetic and a little busy, but when I'm in the buildings or when I'm like out on the beach, I don't feel that, and I just feel really relaxed. Neither of these hotels have really called to me as a place that I would like to stay, other than their location, which is so close to Epcot. So if you're going to one of the food festivals and like that's your main thing, that these are excellent, excellent hotels. If you want a quiet, serene experience, these are excellent, excellent hotels. But the theming is a little bit more upscale, and maybe you just want like full on, Mickey Mouse, and that isn't what you're going to get at these two hotels. But that's not to dissuade you from staying there. That might actually be like a selling point for you. Like the other deluxe resorts, this hotel also has, or these hotels also have, a gym. They have tennis courts. They have pickleball equipment that you can rent. It has a volleyball court. I guess none of those things you can really do solo, except for the gym. The gym seems quite nice. So they have all of those amenities that you can really, again, just kind of have a cool adult upscale experience if you are staying there. But speaking of staying there, let's go over and talk to somebody that actually has stayed there about their experiences. And I'm really excited to like learn more about what it's like to stay there. And I hope you found this really interesting. Now, I should say, last week I talked about the boardwalk, and a few people did provide me some additional information. So again, if you have additional information about these two hotels, please send me a DM or make a comment on YouTube, because that's really, really helpful for me to help like provide additional context. So some people said that yes, during the food festivals in particular, there is more entertainment at night on the boardwalk. They said that it can be quite a fun atmosphere, especially if you go to the dance hall. And there were some solos that said they're really going to miss the Jelly Rolls dueling piano bar, because it was a place that they got to make very fast friends with people at the bar. It's no longer there, and some people also said that the Cake Bake Shop was worth going to. I don't know. There's still something about the energy of it that I'm just like not into. And the price point isn't one where that's really like drawing me any closer. But that is what other people said. If you have other things to say about Yacht Club and Beach Club, please let me know. I haven't yet decided which resort I'm doing next week because of my upcoming trip. Again, there's a few things I want to move around, but stay tuned. It's going to be a deluxe hotel. It's going to be really great. And let's go over to our mini solo story to talk about what it is like to stay at the Yacht Club/Beach Club. Bye. Hello, Lisa. Thank you so much for coming on the Disney Solo Magic podcast.
I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. Like I said, we're doing these series of like mini bonus episodes to talk about the different deluxe resorts, and I have roped you in to talk about not one but two today. So thank you.
I'm ready. Let's
Okay,
go.
good. All right, all the questions. So first, can you introduce yourself to everyone?
My name is Lisa Gerlsbeck, and I live in Kingston, Ontario. I am a travel agent with Pure Magic Vacations, and I've been doing this about 6, almost 7 years now.
Okay,
And I
that's
spend a
cool.
lot of time at Disney.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
It's funny because I did the call out on Threads for this, and for some reason, I got a lot of Canadians, and I assume it's not accidental. I'm assuming Threads did that, but the more Canadians I talked to, I was like, should we all just charter a flight?
Oh, that would be so awesome.
But we still have to get to like Pearson at like 4 a.m. So.
Well, yeah, I'm going to Ottawa, but yeah, I'll meet you there.
Oh, okay, okay. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yacht and beach club. Now, as somebody that visits those resorts as a person who doesn't stay there, I was going to say a non-stayer. I think of those resorts very much as one in the same. And you have stayed at both of them. Do you also think of them as one in the same, or do you really understand them as like two totally different experiences?
Because I've stayed at both and I've stayed both as solo and as a mom, I definitely see them mostly as separate.
Okay,
But
cool.
I do have a favorite over one over the other. But yeah, I do see them as separate other than the pool, other than Stormalong Bay. That is equal to both, right?
Right, right. And you'll notice, listeners, that she's saving her favorites until later in this episode.
I don't want
So,
anyone to get upset, right? So yeah.
oh, I don't know. It's funny because, like, yeah, people in the Disney community can be really like hard line on a
Yeah.
few things, but I also have found that people kind of like your opinion as long as you're like open to
To listening
being,
to the
yeah,
other side.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So tell us about the different types of rooms that you stayed at both of the resorts. Were they studio rooms? Were they standard rooms? What did they look like when you were there solo?
Both times I've stayed at both resorts and they've been standard rooms. Sometimes they've been garden view, and then a couple of times I've been lucky and had water view. Um, I would say the big difference between the two and the reason why I love Yacht Club over the other
Oh,
one
there we go. We got it.
is the balcony. I'm a big balcony coffee in the morning girl. So you get a balcony at Yacht Club. Sometimes you do at Beach Club. You get a Juliet at Beach Club sometimes. But you get a balcony at Yacht Club. So that's
Now,
why I picked that
I've
one.
always thought that all the deluxe rooms have balconies of some sort, even if they're just Juliet balconies.
And Beach Club has the Juliets.
Mm,
But you'll get a full size, like two chair,
right.
um, at Yacht Club.
Right. And for those of you listening who don't know what a Juliet balcony is, it's really just like there is no balcony. It's just the railing. So if you were Juliet from
Get half
Romeo
a
and
foot.
Juliet, you'd be
Yeah.
leaning out to
Yeah.
call for, yeah, to call for Romeo or for Mickey.
Yeah. Or Mickey. Always Mickey. Yes.
Yeah. And what was the room like for a solo? Is it kind of similar in setup to a moderate room, or are there other amenities that are particularly appealing for adults?
Oh, that is a really good question. I would
Oh,
say they're slightly bigger. I can't tell you where they're bigger. Maybe the bathrooms are
okay.
slightly bigger, the washrooms. Um, and Yacht Club, the rooms I had also had a couch. So
Ah,
they could have been like a fifth sleeper, but a much nicer fifth sleeper than just the small pull-down bed at a moderate.
right, right. And they have things like the coffee machines and the
Yeah.
safe and they like all of that stuff as well.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
tend to have a little better of a coffee machine than, say, the value resorts.
right. Ones that aren't just like those ones are
The
so
Keurig. Yes. Yeah.
yeah. And how about like the room placements themselves? Like when I think of deluxe resorts, I think of a lot of hallways because the hallways are inside versus the deluxe and moderate where the hallways are outside.
There can be a lot of walking at the deluxe resort for your room, depending on where you are. So at Yacht Club, you get a water view. It's not too bad, right? And there's lots of little side exits and shortcuts you can to get out. But yes, it's long hallways and lots of turns. And a couple times I've gotten lost. I fully admit it. But and the advantage to the values is the outdoor hallways. It's a little bit faster, I find.
Well, and also, I don't know, like safer question mark. Maybe it's because I just finished a novel about like a haunted house with a lot of like labyrinth hallways. But we talk about safety a lot in the podcast and how Disney is generally a very safe place to go. But I can also imagine people might being intimidated if there's so many hallways to think maybe there are creepy crawlies and, crazy people hiding around the corners, which logically wouldn't be the case at Disney, but are there extra elements of safety that you think about?
Never found it that
Yeah.
way,
Okay.
especially at the Deluxes,
Yeah.
like ever. There's always so many people, right? And cast members around as well. It's like you might have a lot of hallways, but there's people. Oh, it's not like far away. Yeah.
And if you did have a concern about that, like, is there a block of rooms, or would there be a way that you would articulate that to like check-in services, the front desk?
I would probably just I would have booked probably a water view again
Mhm.
because it's at the
Ah,
front, not in the garden way in the back. Um, but I probably would just say I'm traveling alone. So if there's any, rooms that are a little more around people, that would be great, but maybe not in front of the elevator, like that kind of thing. Right.
right, right. But that's a really good tip to like book a water view room if you want to be a little closer without having to talk about that to someone necessarily. Is that only for beach club or is that also yacht club?
Yeah, it would be the same at both because you'd
Okay.
be facing yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's very useful. And how about things like, just like getting up and going to breakfast? And like, what is that experience like if you just want something casual, especially first thing in the morning at these two different resorts?
Okay, honest answer.
Yes.
When I'm staying at these resorts, I definitely get a park hopper, and I almost always start my day at Epcot.
Right.
So my breakfast is in Paris, right? And I'm at Halls de, I can never say it, boulangerie or whatever, the pastry, and I'm having a fresh croissant and a mimosa for breakfast. Um,
Sounds great.
it is so close that I can just zip over and then I can go to whatever park I had intended for the rest of the day, or I can continue there, or I can go back to the resort. It's so close. But they do have a quick service marketplace, so you can get the basics, right? It's not the full sit down like you'd have at Pop Century, with the full Mickey waffle bounty plate and that kind of thing. But they have the bagels and the croissants and the fruit and all of that. It's very different from a value and a moderate as far as quick service goes.
Okay.
But there tends to be, especially at Beach Club and Yacht Club, there's a bakery, Boardwalk Bakery or they're right across, right? There's options around you to go to.
Right. So yeah, it's not the same big, accessible, quick service type experience, but there's also maybe the expectation that you would be going
Yeah.
across the water to Boardwalk or across the water to Epcot. And then, of course, some of the beach and yacht club rooms are DVC, which have their own kitchens.
Yes.
Right. So, like, don't expect the same type of quick service experience, especially in the morning.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I will also often do a small like grocery snack delivery ahead of
Okay.
time so that I've got breakfast as well for those days that I don't want to walk over to Epcot.
Right.
Oh, those hard
Wow,
days.
so that's
Yeah.
so difficult.
Right.
Can you imagine, like, yeah, like that's the biggest issue. Oh gosh, I just don't want to
Oh,
walk over to Epcot right now.
so hard. It is the best though, right? Just crossing that bridge, grabbing myself a fresh croissant. Oh, there's nothing like it.
And when you have stayed there at the beach or yacht club, especially when you're solo, is it to take advantage of that Epcot location, or are there other elements of the two resorts that really draw you there, even if it wasn't walking distance between Epcot or Hollywood Studios?
Okay, another honest answer.
Yes.
So a lot of people pick those two resorts because of the amazing Stormalong Bay, right? I don't know if you've never been, it is probably the best pool on Disney property,
Yep.
right? It's got a little wave thing, it's got everything, or lazy river, I should say. As when I'm traveling solo without my kids, I like that resort because that pool is so popular. The quiet pools are empty.
Yes.
Right? So when I'm in between parks and I'm hot and I'm tired and I just want to go with my Kindle and go read, I grab a drink, I take my Kindle, I head to the quiet pools, chairs are mine, all the kids, everyone else is over at the fun pool, and I'm enjoying myself at the quiet pools.
Yeah, it's funny. The last time I was there, not staying there, but I walked behind a little bit and I was like, "Oh, what is this? This is literally the most quiet of the quiet pools I've
It is.
ever seen.
It
It's so
really is.
quiet. It was you could hear a pin drop."
Yeah. So imagine, right? It's your own private pool. You've got the chairs and the towels, you bring a snack. Yeah, it is perfect. Like the moderates have wonderful quiet pools, but there's always people in them. So, right? But at that resort in particular, everyone's at the main pool.
Well, at those two resorts, because there's two quiet
Yeah.
pools, right? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the main big pool is the one everyone can see, and then the quiet pools are like around the,
Yeah.
yeah.
Little
Yeah.
tucked in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, are there elements? I mean, I guess maybe that big pool, but are there elements that just feel really like so family friendly that it would make you feel kind of awkward to be there solo?
No, not me.
Like,
I
like I've said with the value big pools, that I'm just like, "Nah, I don't feel like this isn't the place for me. Like, it's whereas at other pools I feel more comfortable, but like the value big pools, I'm always like, that's the families.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. And I would say in my times at like the All-Star Musics and Pop, I don't spend a lot of time at the big pool. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Coronado, I have no issue at the big pool.
Oh,
Love
that's
it.
so big. Yeah.
And same with Riverside, Port Orleans, all of those. But you're right, at the values, I don't tend to. But yeah, no, there's nothing. I am fairly somewhat new to solo travel, right? My kids are older now, and I've kind of reached this phase of like, I had to go myself for work a couple times, and I was like, oh, I really like this. It is kind of awesome,
You
right?
can say it louder on this
I
podcast.
don't want them to hear it. So I don't find I kind of enjoy watching the families and seeing them have a wonderful, especially at Cape May where the character breakfast,
Hmm.
one of my favorite character breakfasts. It's right downstairs and it's a buffet, which I like to do when I'm solo traveling. It just feels a little bit more, I don't know, obvious or something. And I love watching the families interact with the characters. It's my one of my favorite things.
That's awesome. I love Cape May Cafe as well. And I said on this podcast that I'm just like, I think buffets are better for solos.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait for people. You can do
It's
it
a
on your
control
own
thing.
order.
A
Like,
control thing. That's what it is,
pardon
right?
me?
It's a control thing,
Right.
right? I'm in control of like how long I sit here. When I go get more food, if I decide to sit a long time with my coffee, that's fine also, right? So, yeah, I like the buffets when I'm on my own.
And when you've been to these two resorts, are there particular places or like hidden nooks or things like that that you have really found and appreciated going solo, or even just you've made like a mental note, like, ooh, when I'm here by myself again, I definitely want to like sit there or have a coffee there or try this or whatever.
Well, it's not so much in the resorts, it's just outside where the lighthouse is. I love sitting there, especially
Mm,
really, really early in the morning. I'm a very early morning girl, so I will get a coffee and I will go out there and sit and watch the ferry boats. I can't remember what they're called now, but the boats that go back and forth. I love sitting there.
yeah. Is there anything else you want people who are going solo to these resorts to know, to like ask for, to be able to like prepare for if they were going?
Oh, I can't think of anything.
Like, how does it compare if you are used to moderates? I think identifying the different quick service, that's really, really helpful. But if you are used to moderates or value, or you're used to even just like a different deluxe resort, is there something that like really is like something that is a standout here, or something that's like, okay, just remember there's also this part?
I would say just overall with the deluxe resorts when you're solo traveling is really take advantage of the lounges.
Ooh,
Right?
good. Okay.
And right, go to the bar, have a nice cocktail. They're beautiful and it's a nice spot to people watch and just relax. I do that at all of the deluxes. And there's usually like hidden little, there's one at Boardwalk Inn that I love to, I can't even tell you where it is, it's up on the second
I
floor.
know. I love that one. I've
Oh,
napped there midday quite a few
I
times.
take my book there. If it's not super, sunny out or whatever,
Yeah.
I'll go in there with a book and I just love it. And finding those little spots, that's what I like to do.
For those of you who are just listening and not watching, first make sure you subscribe to the Patreon so you can watch us. But we're just like gesturing to like
Yeah.
areas, and we're both like, yes, yes, we know this area. That area also has like music. I mean, I've talked about this on the Boardwalk one as well, so don't worry, everyone. But that one has music that comes out that I'll use songs to always like make a little record for. But I have found some really cool places at I guess it is. Which is closer to Epcot? Beach Club or
Beach.
Yacht Club?
Beach.
Yeah,
Beach.
that's what I thought. I found a really cute area. It's supposed to be one of the DVC-ish lounges, kind of like at the back on the way out to the quiet pool that also just seems so like sunny and serene, but also air conditioned
Yes.
and
Mentioned.
yeah. Do you know that place? Do you know that location?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, I really love too with the yacht club that there are lots of like not archival, but like museum quality pieces up in the front. I've always wondered if there are more things like that through the different hallways, like there is at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, as you go down on the main floor, if you go all the way through and exit the far side, there's a lot of beautiful little stuff. I can't remember the name of there's a little bar. But yeah, if you head down that way, it is beautiful. There's lots of little spots.
All right, well, that's awesome. Thank you for this little mini conversation. I feel like we could talk a lot more, but a lot more things. Quiet pools, buffets, lounges, Epcot. And so hopefully we will get a chance to talk another time and maybe even see each other in the parks.
That would be awesome.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Can you tell people how they can get in touch with you, especially if they're looking to book their own travel to beach or yacht club?
You can reach, I'm on social media, Pure Magic Lisa G. And I'm also on Facebook, Lisa Gerlsbeck at Pure Magic Vacations.
Okay, cool. And those links are down in the description below, so you didn't have to write those down. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Until next time. A big thanks to my special guest for talking about their experiences staying at this deluxe resort. If you want to support them as well as me, please make sure you follow us on our social media channels. The links to those are in the description below. You can also find a link to my Patreon. And in the Patreon, when you become a Patreon member, you can watch our conversation, the whole conversation of us talking. And I always find that that is a great way to just get even more enmeshed into the community of Disney adults and how wonderful it is to go to Disney solo. The Patreon membership is really affordable. It's about $1 a week for Americans and $1.25 a week for Canadians, and you get the videos from all the solo stories, reflections on each one of the episodes, as well as opportunities to vote on future episodes and a breakdown of all of the different upcoming episodes. There's also some bonus episodes that get thrown in every once in a while, and the more of you there are on Patreon, the more you can let me know what you need, and the more I can create those very things. You can also support the podcast by liking, reviewing, sharing, and subscribing to the podcast on all of the different platforms that this podcast is hosted on, which include Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this episode and all the episodes of Disney Solo Magic. Thank you so much for listening. Bye!